it is Amanda filming this video. So today what we're going to be doing is I am going to be making some iron-on decals that have already been picked out by the customer. I am then going to print them on the Cricut, and then I will set up the ironing. Although I've been doing this for a little while, I do not use any of the iron-on presses or the iron presses that Cricut has. I use a typical iron. I'm gonna try my best to stay out of the shot. If you happen to see me, I apologize. But I am going to do these individually and like print and then have each cut out, and then we'll move on to the ironing phase. So what you're gonna see now is I have it pulled up in the Cricut design space. I'm going to make sure I'm picking the right size shirt and the sized gender shirt, and then I'm going to connect my Cricut machine to the laptop, and then I will print it off. I will use some of the toolery I have down at the bottom that you can't see, and I will do each shirt as far as printing it individually to make sure there's no issues with putting the wrong size on the wrong shirt, if that makes sense. So we're gonna go ahead and start doing that. I may speed this part up. I may put some music on in the background. We'll just see how it goes. But I appreciate you all being here. If this is your first time on the channel, please give it a subscribe and a like. Our quality will continue to increase. There are two of us who host this channel. I'm Amanda, my sister-in-law Tiffany also will be producing content and putting content on the channel as well. But this one is going to be me. So let's get into it. I'm not sure if you guys can hear me from over here, but the template that I'm using is just the baseball shirt template. And that is because these are plain black shirts and they are wanted to be in the middle of the t-shirt. So I'm just making sure that everything lines up. I already have this selected, the size group selected, so all I need to do for this one is to plug in the Cricut to my computer. I know you guys are gonna see my arm, and until I figure out a better filming space, unfortunately, this is the process that I have. Down below here, where I know you guys can't see, I have drawers of my vinyl. So I am going to use iron-on white because that is what the customer has requested. And then I'm going to use this. I'm going to shut this for the moment. And I know that this isn't going to be a massive piece. It's looking like we can go ahead and go to make it for this one. And it's about 4.5 inches in height. So we have about that length, probably a little bit extra. I'm going to separate it. I am going to put my vinyl off to the side because I'm going to need it again. When you are printing on iron-on, you need to make sure that your vinyl is shiny side down and that you mirror your image before you print. I only have a large mat to use right now. My small mats need to be cleaned, which I can do a video on how I clean them too. I have 2 dogs, and one is a husky and one is a chocolate lab, and they both shed, so their hair inevitably gets on my mats. So I need to be sure to clean those so we don't always have to use this large one. Now I have an issue with my Cricut right now, and it's connecting to the laptop, so I always have to unplug it and plug the machine back in. And then once you have everything how you want it, you don't have to line up everything for how you want it printed. I am the kind of Cricut maker that if I can, I will. That way it prints the way I want it to. I forgot to click mirror, so we're gonna go back. And we're going to select mirror it. Then you're gonna go to continue, and it should load whatever kind of Cricut machine you have. I have a Cricut Maker. And then it's looking for the machine. It doesn't always take this long. This is just an issue that I'm having. Hopefully you guys won't have this issue. I'm not sure if this cord has gotten bent or if the connection to the back of my machine is what's causing the issue. I've had this issue for a couple of days. So if any other crafters are watching this and you have one and you know what's causing that, if you could let me know in the comments, I'd appreciate it. Once you have everything pulled up, you get to select, I hope you guys can see it, I'm not sure, you get to select what kind of fabric or what you are printing on. So this is iron-on, so I'm printing everyday iron-on. I always go to more pressure just to ensure that the lines are nice and crisp. And then you follow it through. And once it's fed in, you just push your Cricut button and then it's going to print the cutout. So for the next bit of this, I am going to rush through. If I can, I'll fast forward it. Otherwise, I may cut out bits where you only see this part, and then we'll go into the actual ironing of the decals. So I will be back shortly. All right, guys, just so you know how it works, I cut out while it was just printing. I'm sure you guys noticed that. But now that it is 100% printed, your arrows on your Cricut machine are going to start to blink. That means you can unload your project. And then you want to be careful on how you pull this off of the mat so you don't ruin your project. There's no damaging going on. And of course this is white, so you cannot see what it is, but what I am going to do now is I'm going to take my cutter that is down here and I'm going to separate the excess of the project, which this is a lot easier whenever I'm not maneuvering so many things at one time. Usually I would do all of this in one fell swoop, but for my learning's sake for filming these, it's being a little bit challenging. So I definitely cut off about 3 inches too much paper, which is okay because you can use it. So this is what's left. I will probably be using this section for the other shirts. I am gonna go ahead and print off all of them for all of the shirts, and then we'll be back and we will start ironing them on together. I will see you shortly. Okay guys, so hopefully it's not too bad of lighting in here. I have all of my decals printed. I know all you see is white right now. Part of the hard part of printing decals on white and black is it's hard to see the outline. This is for the smaller shirt. I did make a mistake when I was cutting and I accidentally cut off a letter. It didn't cut into any of the other letters, so it's not going to affect me transferring them onto the shirts. So what I'm going to do now is, I'm sure this is going to be difficult to catch on camera, but I'm going to try and weed one of these on camera, and then I am going to weed the rest off camera and get back in touch with you guys once. Sorry, it's hard for me to do this and talk. Once we are ready to print. So I am not, I know a lot of people, like when I'm doing more intricate designs, I am not as aggressive with weeding it as I am being right now. These are letters, so yes, you can mess up if you go too quickly and the vinyl can rip, but these letters are rather big. And this kind of iron-on vinyl this is the Sport Flex, so it stretches quite a bit and gives me some leeway. And I'm not too concerned as long as my actual letters don't rip. I'm not concerned if it rips off in areas in between like that and I have to go back and weed it. That doesn't bother me. I know, you know, other people, other channels and crafters do this part differently. They don't want to touch it so much. They like to have it on a flat surface. Until I figure out better filming techniques for craft stuff, I'm just gonna kind of bear with it with what I've got. If you guys have any tips or tricks, feel free to leave them in the comment section. So this hasn't been too difficult. I just have the middle parts of the letters to weed out. So I'm going to take my tool and just lift it up and then pull it out. I try to keep my work away from my weeded pieces the best that I can in an area so they can all go in the trash can. I know some people use like Scotch tape or tape wrapped around their hands and they stick their pieces that they weed onto their hand. If I'm ever doing something like super intricate where there's a ton of little pieces being pulled out and you don't want that to end up in your work, then I do. So the reason that we printed this mirror image is because this is what we iron. So we will just place the piece like this onto our work. So I am going to go ahead and weed the rest of these and then I will see you guys over at the ironing board. Okay guys, so I have set up the ironing board and the first shirt. So whenever you're putting the shirts on the ironing boards, you just have to be careful and mindful that you are placing them center and you are making sure that there is no fuzz or fur, or if you have pets like me, any dog hair on your surface where you're going to be putting the decal. So what you do now, like I said, I don't have a press. I haven't really found the need for a press. I get it makes it easier, but I haven't had any issues using just a normal iron. So this is going to be pretty easy. All you do is you just run over the shirt, make sure that the surface is warm. So you take some time doing this. You want to make sure the full surface of where you're going to put your decal is all warm to about the same temperature. I mean, you kind of want, the way I tell is I just do several passes. I will slow down my passes just to make sure that the whole area I will be putting the decal gets hit with some temperature. I like to hold my hand over it to make sure it is all hot. Once it's to a good temperature, again, this is just me estimating, since I don't have a press, I will not place my work down. Once your shirt is hot, you don't want to actually lay your work down until you're ready to iron it because it will stick. So I just want to make sure it is as even and in a good placement. This should be about the shoulder blade, so I'm using the sleeves as a marker. And I'm going to place it, and then I'm just going to slowly pass over the piece of work with the iron. And the plastic is going to get very, very hot, so I would not recommend touching it. And then I just do multiple passes over the whole piece of work to make sure it's all getting hot and sticking to that fabric and adhering perfectly, especially with this kind of text where there's little pieces that accents to the letters that come off. Those are easy to lift and not get fully warm to stick down. Once it's done, I give it just a few seconds to cool off. That way I don't burn myself. And then I will test it to see if the letters are sticking to the fabric and that there is no lifting when this is being done. And it just comes off pretty smoothly. You don't want to remove this too quickly, otherwise you will have some pilling in the letters. And that is how I iron on all of the like text that I have. Hopefully that didn't blind you guys too much. So this is a men's medium shirt. It is even and in between the shoulder blades when this will be on an individual. So this is what the customer was asking. This is what the other ones will look like. I will probably leave I'll probably come in one last time so you guys see a final screenshot of them all laid up. I might not, so this might be the last bit you see from us, but this was the project for this customer. I hope you guys have a good day, good evening, good night, wherever you are. And I will see you in our next one. I'm not sure what the next video will be, if it's gonna be a cup video or another shirt video, but I have a feeling it is going to be intricate cup detail. My sister-in-law Tiffany, who is a co-host of this channel, is working on one of her cups for a customer at the moment that is pretty intrinsic, she said. So that will probably be our next upload. I'm not sure when it'll be. It'll probably be in a couple of days. But thank you all for being here. If you haven't liked or subscribed, please do so. Bye.